Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of the WT Coaches Show. I'm your host Zach Barnes, and our first guest this week, as always, is head football coach Mike Nesbitt. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great, Zach. How are you?
Doing well, Coach. Last week we just played Azusa and lost that one 24-27, and kind of a heartbreaker. But we're going to move past that. That's kind of been the theme with media stuff going on this week. And what have the adjustments been so far? I know that one of them has kind of been conditioning. So remember, one of the comments you made yesterday was, guys were getting gassed halfway through the second quarter.
Well, the thing we talked about the most was just understanding, don't get so amped up and so excited, maybe on Thursday afternoon for a game that you run out of energy and run out of steam a little bit. I felt like some of our players that really did happen to us. I don't think it's the conditioning or the workload or the practice, but it's more the understanding what we're eating, what we're taking in before the game, how to get their body and the kind of that engine tuned up, ready to play for the four quarters. Because I think that's where we did see it, and I think everybody saw it halfway through the third quarter. You could just see the momentum swing, and it was more us and us just kind of, the fatigue factor or whatever, mental fatigue or whatever it was, and we got to battle through that to make sure we're able to play late in the year.
Well, Coach, this week on Saturday at 5 over at Kimbrough, we are hosting Colorado State Pueblo, the defending national champs and ranked number 2 in the nation. What are they looking like?
Well, first off, they're a well-coached team. Coach Riston does a great job with them, and up front, their offensive line and D-line are probably the two most physical groups that we could probably see all year. And I think that's something, we talked about, real heavily. I know I did for sure with the D-line yesterday afternoon. As every one of them walked out to practice, I gave them a hard time about, you better be ready to go toe-to-toe and nose-to-nose with these guys because they're going to be physical up front. They got two great tailbacks that are running the ball really well right now. And on their defensive line, they got an All-American candidate, an All-Conference guy in Fox coming back, and he's playing really well and looked great on TV the other night when I watched their game. And so there's a lot there to understand that it's not going to be a finesse deal by any sense of the imagination. It's going to be a physical game, and we're going to have to be ready to get in there and get after it with them.
You mentioned the two running backs. The McDonald brothers put up more than 300 yards combined against Central Washington. What are the things that you guys are looking to do to try and stop them?
Well, the most important thing is, one, you got to kind of hand them in and keep them at the line of scrimmage. Don't let them break. Don't let them get a crease. And then when you do get a shot to tackle them, can't miss it. If they get into the second level, they're going to run by people, and they're not afraid to run over guys. They're kind of a mixture of everything. They're not afraid to drop the hammer and hit somebody, and they're also not afraid to run by somebody. So I think it's a thing that we got to do a great job of knowing where they're at, got to do a great job of tackling and fitting our gaps, and understand that they are a two-headed monster and they both can do damage. And so, and they're going to be fresh. He's not running one guy 30, 40 times a game. He's going to be able to flip those guys and keep them healthy. And so you're going to get a great effort from both of them because they should always be fresh coming out there.
And we talked about him a little bit yesterday during the media days. Malcolm Rubin with Colorado State Pueblo, the quarterback. He only went 7 of 14 for 113 yards, but with those 7 passes that he completed, he did a lot of damage.
He was efficient, and I think that's the thing. You go back and look at Rubin when he was from Baytown, and just understanding, that's kind of how their offense is set up. They're not going to put a lot of pressure on him, but he's got to make the throws when he needs to make them, and I think that's what you saw that he did. And goes to play action pass ball real well, can stretch the ball downfield. He's got a good arm. He's not afraid to throw it deep, and that's kind of the nature of their offense. They're going to get you to load that box, kind of load it up, and then also they're going to throw that big ball over the top of you, and he completed it. And so if he can do that, with those two guys carrying the football, they're a dangerous combination. So we got to do a good job of taking away one of those facets of the game and really be physical with them for sure.
Now, we've been talking a lot of offense. What are the things you're going to have to do to get through the Pueblo defense?
Well, the most important thing, one, is we got to be able to pass protect. We got to make sure that we kind of set the tempo in our pass protection schemes to get it the way we want it to be. And then the next is understanding their coverages. Their D coordinator rotates the coverage quite a bit and gives us different looks. And so Preston's got to do a good job of identifying it pre-snap and then understanding the movement once it happens. And just take our shots when we get them. And then the big thing with us offensively is make runs after the catch and secure the football. Make a big play happen when it might not even be there.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you joining us this week, and good luck on Saturday. Again, that is this Saturday at 5 p.m. over at Kimbrough Memorial Stadium. You can also keep up with live stats and live streaming at GoBuffsGo.com. Coach, thank you for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the WT Coaches Show. Right now we've got men's cross country coach, Darren Flowers. Coach, how are you doing?
Doing great.
You had a great year last year. How's the team looking?
Well, we got a lot of new faces this year. We are returning Jeffrey Kipchumba and Zach Daniels. We still don't know if Zach Daniels is going to redshirt this year, coming off of his summer. He had a great year last year. But we're still kind of slow playing it to see if he's going to be one of our top 7 and whether he's going to redshirt. He still has 2 track seasons left, so we're just kind of trying to figure out what he's going to do. But among those new faces, we have some really hard-working, talented kids. Tyson Whelan and Blake Whalen transferred to us from Iowa Central. They were the junior college national champions in cross country last year, and they have made an immediate impact in our group. And another kid that I think is really going to have an impact for us is Jamie Caldwell. He comes to us from London, England, and really smart about running, high IQ when it comes to training, and he looks great right now. And then we have another freshman that's really stepped up so far in workouts. His name's Darren Allen from Bruceville Eddy, down South Texas. So, I think this is a good group, and they're excited. They work hard. They're tough. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what they can do.
Now, on September 11th, you guys go to Johnson, Kansas for the Border Classic. I know you kind of touched a little bit on it yesterday with media day interviews and whatnot, but I kind of explained that to us.
The Border Classic is a new event. I wasn't really sure at first if it was something that we were going to participate in, because it's only a 5K, and at the national meet we need to run a 10K. But I thought it might be a kind of a neat event to bring the team together and compete against some other Division II schools. I mean, in this sport we kind of get caught up in these open meets competing against Division I and NAIA, and I really think it's important that we support Division II in our sport and build it up. And so I thought this was a good opportunity. It's with Fort Hays, Colorado State Pueblo, New Mexico Highlands, and West Texas A&M being the representative from Texas. So we basically take all the 4 states, meet in the middle, and go after it. We have, I think, 3 of the top 10 teams in the region will be competing in the South Central region. And it is a small meet, so every point counts big. So it'll be interesting to see how the team aspect of things works out, because it's a lot different than a bigger meet.
One of those changes was, it's a 5K opposed to the 10K you're going to be training for. How do you prepare for that?
Yeah, we don't really change much. Our goal is to be good in November, and it's to be good at the 10K distance. When you're talking about a 15-minute race opposed to a 30-minute race, there can be a lot of difference between not only the ability levels of the athletes and how well they can do in the races, but how you approach those races in training. We're simply doing what we've done to prepare for a national championship. I mean, that's our goal is November, and these guys have made it clear that they want to be a top 6 team in the nation. They want to be a top 6 team. They think it's realistic. I think it's realistic if we stay healthy. So really, this is a tune-up for us, more or less. It's just a chance for us to go out and compete, for the guys to just get out there and kind of dust the jerseys off and bust the rust off and just get something fast under the legs and something competitive. And I think it'll just be a fun event.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you joining us. Again, they do start their season off with the Border Classic down in Johnson, Kansas. Coach, thank you for joining us this week.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the WT Coaches Show. Coming up next, we have women's cross country head coach, Kimberly Dudley. Coach, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me today.
Well, Coach, how's the team looking so far?
I'm real encouraged by this young squad. We have 2 sophomores and the rest are freshmen, so a lot of great potential to grow this year. There's always adversity and growing pains and some of that, but at the root of it, we have a real strong focus of excitement and a real quality heart towards what we're doing this year.
Now, you guys are, on September 11th, you guys are joining the men's as well with the Border Classic in Johnson, Kansas. How's that looking for you guys?
I'm excited. These girls are ready to run, and they all have come from really different backgrounds. So some of them came from racing 2 miles, some of them came from racing 5K. So some of them are excited to have this balance of an in-between race, running a 4K this Friday. And so I think it'll be a great first outing for this young group.
You're kind of saying a lot of you've got a lot of young runners on this team. What does that do for the team dynamic when it comes to people stepping up and leading?
It's been really interesting to watch leadership emerge, because without that senior leadership, it's sophomore leadership, and so the sophomores are doing a fantastic job of leading, but it's fun to watch the freshmen, that leadership start sneaking out of them, where they were just leading teams, in high school. So it's been really nice to watch that grow and immerse the last several weeks. So I look forward to each of them growing in their strengths to sharpen their teammates.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you joining us this week. Again, they do open up September 11th at the Border Classic in Johnson, Kansas. Coach, we wish you luck.
Thanks so much.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the WT Coaches Show. Our final guest with us today is women's soccer head coach Chad Webb. Coach, how are you?
I'm all right, man. How you doing?
You doing well?
Good.
Well, Coach, you had a 0-2 start this last week over in Dallas. You played Metro and Colorado Mines. I remember you talking yesterday during the media days that even though you lost those 2 matches, you saw a lot of good things.
Yeah, nobody wants to start their season 0-2, but playing teams of that caliber, some of the best 2 teams in the region, really lets you see kind of where your team is at. And against Metro, they had more chances than we did, obviously, but we saw a really good performance out of our back 4 and our goalkeeper. She was fantastic, starting as a freshman in her first collegiate game. She ran out of goal one time and just kind of fell over really early in the game. And I don't know why. I don't know how they didn't score on that opportunity. But from that moment on, I think all the nerves were gone. I really don't know what happened. She just ran out and just fell over. It was really odd. What was disappointing is you get so deep into the second half, and I felt like in the span of just 2 minutes we just quit playing. We let them have one shot from distance. It probably shouldn't go in from there, but the girl hit it really, really well. It's not Courtney's fault, but we should put that girl under pressure. We shouldn't just take a break just because it's the 80th minute. And then we scored the last one for them. I don't know if you know that or not, but Peyton Williams, our center back, headed the thing into our own goal. So that's how that became 2. Against Mines, we created much more opportunities to score. I mean, Ashley Craig hit the crossbar when the score was still 0-0. They did bounce the ball through us and score a goal. I want to say it was about the 60th minute, something like that. And then in the last 10 minutes, I threw everything forward. So the second goal really late in the game, that's probably my fault. But if you're going to lose, what difference does 1-0 or 2-0 make? So we must have been playing with 4 forwards and maybe 1 defender, and that when they scored their last goal. So that wasn't the girls' fault. That was just my philosophy of taking a big risk and trying to get back into the game.
And then you can kind of compare that to pulling the goalie to get that 6th attacker in hockey.
Yeah, and if you try that, it might work, and if not, you're giving up another goal. That's exactly what I did. Yeah, and so yeah, there were a lot of positives to the games. They were probably more like 1-0 games instead of 2-0 games, but the more attacking style that we saw on Saturday compared to Thursday, that leads me to believe if we can keep building on that, we can score some goals, because right now we haven't, and our defense was great.
Well, that's good, Coach. You talk about your freshman goalkeeper a little bit, Courtney Dipple. She had 12 saves in one of those games. What are some things that you were really liking about her?
Well, goalkeeping was one of our weaknesses last year, so we tried hard to improve that, and based on the performance in 2 games, I think we really did. The problem is now she just went with Sept to get an MRI, so depending on the results of her knee, she may have just played her only 2 games of the season. I hope that's not the case, but I'm trying to keep my thoughts positive, because we really need her to be healthy.
And that's rough. But September 10th, y'all go to Southern Nazarene. They're 1-0 this season with a 1-0 win over Eastern New Mexico. What are you looking like with them so far?
I'm not exactly sure. I've never been to Bethany, Oklahoma. I'm sure we played them last year here in Canyon, and I thought individually they were very good. They're very athletic, very skillful. I thought that as a team, they didn't play very well as a team. But see, it's a pretty new program to Division II, so I'm sure they've made some improvements there. I haven't spoken to the coaches at Eastern New Mexico to see what they thought about that game, but I'm sure it's not going to be easy.
And then September 11th, you guys host Southwestern Oklahoma State. They're 1-1. How much are you guys looking forward to finally getting to play at home?
Oh, it's going to be great. We'll play our first home game. I've invited all of our campers from the summer to come out, so hopefully we'll have a whole lot of young female players representing the game. We got our final 2 players in this week, so they won't go with me tomorrow because they have a lot of stuff to do to try to catch up in school. But they'll be all eligible and ready to play on Sunday, so I'll probably get them into the game at some point, and we'll get to see exactly what we've got there in those 2 twins. We're just really excited to play at home. Southwestern Oklahoma is always good, but really excited to play at home.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you joining us this week. Again, that first home game is September 11th over at the Pitch. You can catch live stats and live streaming on GoBuffGo.com. Again, Coach, thank you for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me.
For the WT Sports Network, I'm Zach Barnes, and we'll see you next week.